Hello, hello. Good evening. This is Venus Callida, and I'm logging in to host you for another Tuckin' and Chill event. So, Tuckin' and Chill, if you're one of my new subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Um, this is an evening where we get together just to hang out, and I tell a bedtime story, an adult bedtime story. We've decided with the first few subscribers that they liked most my ghost stories or eerie stories or horror stories, if you will, on a Friday night. And then, if you're still awake, um, sometimes I have a sneak preview of a new rest or guided meditation or sleep story that I can preview for you if it's never been seen before. I've been working a little bit on this story. This is something that is from the public domain, originally written in 1896. And what I did is I went through and made it my own so that I've changed names and places, and I have updated some of the language to be more understandable to the younger generation. Because, that's a long time ago. Not even our grandparents were born way back then. Maybe our great-great-great-grandparents? I don't know. And so this is my soft-spoken evening. And I remember to be a little quieter. I will try to alter my voice so that it's helpful for you. Sometimes I make visuals to go with the stories that I tell. This time around I didn't have time to do that, but what I did do was fashion this story to fit inside of my playlist for the Brave Immortal Souls series. So this is a side story, not Venus's story, but you'll recognize the names of the characters in this story as some of the people who are some of my first subscribers here, because I like to work you guys into my stuff, and also because I've known these particulars for many years through the gaming world, because I got my start as Venus Callida, the Frost Death Knight, during the Lich King, and my VTubing is an extension of that life to stay in touch, because none of us are teenagers anymore. We've all moved on to other things, though we may still play WoW from time to time together. So, allow yourself to drift off to sleep if you like, and if you'd like to chat about any subject at all after my story, the floor will be open to any subscriber or viewer that's come in and is still here by the end of my story. And then, if there are no requests or no one feels like chatting, I'll pep you with a ghost story of my own. I have to think about them sometimes, and I haven't been making notes about this, but I really should one day. So that, they're a little bit tame, but they're not from Reddit. They are my own that I've collected living in all of the lonely places for almost 20 years across the Arctic Circle and across the Northern Hemisphere. Because I've lived in a lot of isolated and lonely places that you could jog around for 20 minutes and I've seen the whole thing. Places where if you get fed up and freak out and decide to run and swim for 3 days, you'll never find a highway, because I've grown up in the places well beyond where the sidewalk ends. And the trees don't even grow. How about that? So, this is a story that I've refashioned because of the public domains. There's no copyright. And this is a horror story. It's a short horror story. The original publication that this was inspired by was The Striding Place by Gertrude Atherton, and she first published it in 1896. Wow. And I'm so sorry about my awful neighbors. Some of them are not on their medication today. Not to make light of that, but that's actually the case with that particular voice. He sometimes thinks he's turning himself into a werewolf, and hopefully we won't hear more of that. But sometimes he starts singing. That's its own story. So here we go. This is called Ambulation Point. And this place called Ambulation Point, just to explain the backstory, is a place in my world, and it is where a pretty hefty river converges with its tributaries, and so it creates a kind of whitewater rapid situation near its mouth before it boils down a hill. And one of these tributaries is coming from a hot spring, so some of the currents are very icy cold. One is quite hot, and it's very dangerous to be caught in those waters. It tends to be a place that people don't go, but there are adventurers, sometimes an unlucky child, who gets swept up and disappears. And so the locals call this place the Amble, as that water is ever moving in its own little directions. And you go, put a little toy boat on it or set a leaf upon it and watch it tumble and disappear and never find where it comes out on the other side. It's a mystery, but we know it ambles along. So, knowledgeable about Ambulation Point is our friend Noriyama. Now, you may know Noriyama as one of our op hunters, and he's usually got a couple of hunting pets out with him, helping him out. And so he knows the land very well. He doesn't tend to go in its direction very often. Noriyama, so continental and detached, tired of all the early shooting geese. He is a hunter, we know. It's not really his thing. It doesn't put up too much of a fight, you see. So, we enter this story seeing Noriyama standing up propped against a sod fence, while his host workmen rooted up the birds with long poles and drove them towards the waiting guns. It made him feel himself a parody on the ancestors who had roamed the moors and forests of this western district of Uviti province, in hot pursuit of game worth the killing. But when in Angemar, in August, he always accepted whatever presented itself for the season, and invited his host to shoot pheasants on his estates in the south. The amusements of life, he argued, should be accepted with the same philosophy as its ills. It had been a bad day. A heavy rain had made the moor so spongy it fairly sprang beneath the feet. Whether or not the grouse had haunts of their own, wherein they were immune from rheumatism, the bag had been small. The women, too, were an unusually dull lot, with the exception of a new-minded debutante who bothered Noriyama at dinner by demanding the verbal restoration of the vague paintings on the vaulted roof above them. Ugh. But it was no one of these things that sat on Noriyama's mind, as, when the other men went up to bed, he let himself out the castle and sauntered down to the river. His intimate friend, the companion of his boyhood, the chum of his college days, his fellow traveler in many lands, the man for whom he possessed stronger affection than for all other men, had mysteriously disappeared 2 days ago, and his track might have sprung to the upper air for all trace he had left behind him. He had been a guest on the adjoining estate during the past week, shooting with the fervor of the true sportsman, making love in the intervals to glow flame, and apparently in the best spirits. And as far as was known, there was nothing to lower his mental mercury, for his rent wool with a large one, Miss Flame blushed whenever he looked at her, and, being one of the best shots in Angemar, he was never happier than in August. The suicide theory was preposterous, all agreed. There was little reason to believe him murdered. Nevertheless, he had walked out at Cornpit Stronghold 2 nights ago without a helmet or a cloak, and he'd never been seen since. The country was being patrolled night and day. 100 keepers and workmen were beating the woods and poking the bogs on the moors, but as yet, not so much as a gauntlet had been found. Noriyama did not believe for a minute that Jig was dead, and although it was impossible not to be affected by the general uneasiness, he was disposed to be more angry than frightened. At Steerpond Academy, Jake had been an incorrigible practical joker, and by no means had outgrown the habit. It would be like him to cut across the country in his evening clothes, board a cattle train, and amuse himself touching up the picture of the sensation in Western District. However, Noriyama's affection for his friend was too deep to companion with tranquility in the present state of doubt, and instead of going to bed early with the other men, he determined to walk until ready for sleep. He went down to the river and followed the path through the woods. There was no moon, but the stars sprinkled their cold light upon the pretty belt of water flowing placidly past wood and ruin, between green masses of overhanging rocks, or sloping banks tangled with the tree and shrub, leaping occasionally over stones with the harsh notes of an angry scold to recover its equanimity the moment the water and the way was clear again. It was very dark in the depths where Noriyama trod. He smiled as he recalled a remark of Jake's. And Ammonmere's wood is like a good many other things in life, very promising at a distance, but a hollow mockery when you get within. You see daylight on both sides, and the sun freckles the very bracken. Our woods need the night to make them seem what they ought to be, what they once were, before our ancestors' descendants demanded so much more money and these so much more various days. Noriyama strolled along, smoking, thinking of his friend, his pranks, many of which had done more credit to his imagination than this, and recalling conversation that had lasted the night through. Just before the end of the goose season, they had walked the streets one hot night after a party, discussing the various theories of the soul's destiny. That afternoon they had met at the coffin of a colleague. It was a college friend, whose mind had been a blank for about 3 days. Some months previously they had called up to the asylum to see him. His expression had been senile, his face imprinted with the record of debauchery. In death the face was placid, intelligent, without ignoble alienation, the face of the man they had known at college. Noriyama and Jake had no time to comment there, and the afternoon and evening was full, but coming forth from the house of festivity together, they had reverted almost at once to the topic. I cherish the theory, Jake said, that the soul sometimes lingers in the body after death, during madness, of course, and is an impotent prisoner, albeit a conscious one. Fancy its agony and its horror. What more natural than that, when the life spark goes out, the tortured soul should take possession of the vacant skull and triumph once more for a few hours while old friends look their last? It has had time to repent, while compelled to crouch and behold the result of its work, and it has shriveled itself into a state of comparative purity. If I had my way, I should stay inside my bones until the coffin had gone into its niche, and I might obviate for my poor old comrade the tragic impersonality of death. And I should like to see justice done to it, as it were, to see it lowered among its ancestors with the ceremony and solemnity that all are due. I am afraid that if I separated myself too quickly, I should yield to curiosity and hasten to investigate the mysteries of space. You believe in the soul as an independent entity, then? That it and the vital principle are not one and the same? Noriyama asked. Absolutely, Jake replied. The body and the soul are twins, like life comrades. Sometimes friends, sometimes enemies, but always loyal in the last instance. Some day, when I'm tired of the world, I shall go to another country and become a philosopher, solely for the pleasure of receiving proof during life of this independent relationship. Suppose you were not seated up properly and returned after one of your astral flights to find your earthly part unfit for habitation, asked Noriyama. It is an experiment. I don't think I should care to try, unless even juggling with soul and flesh had paled. That would not be an uninteresting predicament. I should rather enjoy experimenting with broken machinery, Jake answered with a chuckle. The high wild roar of water pounded suddenly upon Noriyama's ear and checked his memories. He left the wood and walked out on the huge slippery stones which nearly closed the mouth of the river's tributaries, and watched the waters boil down into the narrow pass with their furious, untiring energy. The black quiet of the woods rose high on either side. The stars seemed colder and whiter just above. On either hand, the perspective of the river might have run into a rayless cavern. There was no lonelier spot on Angemere, nor one which had the right to claim so many ghosts, if ghosts there were. Noriyama was not a coward, but he recalled uncomfortably the tales of those that had been done to death in the amble. One unfortunate child of Overlea province had been disposed of by the strong, swift rapids, but countless others, more venturesome than wise, had gone down into that narrow boiling course, never to appear in the still pools below, just a few yards down. Below the great rocks which formed the walls of the amble was believed to be a natural vault, onto whose shelves the dead were drawn. The spot had an ugly fascination. Noriyama stood, envisioning skeletons uncoffined and green, the home of the eyeless things which had devoured all that had covered and filled the rattling symbol of being's mortality, then fell to wondering if anyone had attempted to leap the amble of late. It was covered with slime. He had never seen it look so treacherous. Oh, he shuddered and turned away, impelled, despite his manhood, to flee the spot. As he did so, something tossed in the foam below the fall. Something as white, yet independent of it, caught his eye and stopped him in his tracks. Then he saw that it was describing contrary motion to the rushing water, an upward-backward motion. Noriyama stood rigid, breathless. He was convinced he heard the cracking of his hair. What was that, a hand? It thrust itself still higher above the boiling foam, turned sideways, and 4 frantic fingers were distinctly visible against the black rock beyond. Noriyama's superstitious terror left him. A man was there, struggling to free himself from that suction beneath the amble, swept down, doubtless, but a moment before his arrival, perhaps as he stood with his back to the current. He stepped as close to the edge as he dared. The hand contorted as if cursed, and shaking savagely in the face of that force which leaves its creatures an unchangeable law. Then spread wide again, clenching, expanding, crying for help as audibly as the human voice. Noriyama dashed to the nearest tree, dragged the twisted off a branch in his strong arms, and returned as swiftly to the amble. The hand was in the same place, still gesticulating as wildly. The body was undoubtedly caught in the rocks below, perhaps already halfway along one of those hideous shelves. Noriyama lowered himself down upon a protruding rock, braced his shoulder against the mass beside him, then, leaning out over the water, thrust the branch into the hand. The fingers clutched it convulsively. Noriyama tugged powerfully. His own feet dragged dangerously close to the edge. For a moment he worried he'd been too late, and then an arm shot up out of the waters. The blood sprang to Noriyama's face, and he choked with the impression that the amble had him in her roaring hold, and he saw nothing. Then the mist cleared. The hand and arm were nearer, although the rest of the body was still concealed by the foam. Noriyama peered out with the distended eyes. The meager light revealed in the cuffs links of a peculiar device. The fingers clutching the branch were as familiar. Noriyama forgot the slippery stones, the terrible death if he stepped too far. He pulled with passionate will and muscle. Memories flung themselves into the hot light of his brain, trooping rapidly upon each other's heels, as in the thought of the drowning. Most of the pleasures in his life, good and bad, were identified in some way with his friend. Scenes of college days, of travel, where they had deliberately sought adventure and stood between one another and death upon more occasions than one, of hours of delightful companionship among the treasures of art, and others in the pursuit of pleasure, flashed like the changing particles of a kaleidoscope. Noriyama had loved several women, but he would have flouted in these moments the thought that he had ever loved any woman as he loved his friend Jick. There were so many charming women in the world, and in 32 years of his life he had never known another man to whom he had cared to give his intimate friendship. He threw himself on his face. His wrists were cracking. The skin was torn from his hands. The fingers still gripped a stick. There was life in them yet. Suddenly, Something gave way. The hand swung about, tearing the branch from Noriyama's grasp. The body had been liberated and flung outward, through still submerged by the foam and spray. Noriyama scrambled to his feet and sprang along the rocks, knowing that the danger from suction was over and that Jik must be carried straight to the quiet pool where the waters were cool. Jik was a fish in the water and could live under it longer than most men. If he survived this, it would not be the first time that his pluck and science had saved him from drowning. Noriyama reached the pool. A man in his evening clothes floated on it, his face turned downward, a projecting rock over which his arm had fallen, upholding the body. The hand that had held the branch hung limply over the rock, its whitened reflection visible in the black water. Noriyama plunged into the shallow pool, lifted Jik in his arms, and returned to the bank. He laid the body down and threw off his coat, that he might be the freer to practice the methods of resuscitation. He was glad of the moment's respite. The valiant life in the man might have been exhausted in that last struggle. Noriyama had not dared to look at his face, to put his ear to the heart. The hesitation lasted but a moment. There was no time to lose. He turned to his exhausted friend. As Noriyama did this, something strange and disagreeable slammed his senses. For a half moment, he did not appreciate its nature. Then his teeth cracked together. His feet, his outstretched arm, pointed towards the woods. But he sprang to the side of this man and bent down and peered into his face. There was no face. Please leave comments in the comment section below and let me know if you like this story. When I am able to create a background visual for this story, it will appear in the playlist I have called Brave and Mortal Souls. And these are the side adventures of some of the characters in my main story as Venus Callida in Brave and Mortal Souls. You'll recognize Noriyama as one of our subscribers, also one of the gamers in the World of Warcraft when I do Dragonflight Gaming Nights. He's one of the people you'll see. Pescana, Glowflame, and Jik are also part of that world with me that came here through VTubing together. And Jik, the very first friend I ever met in the World of Warcraft that I actually understood when I was rezzing Ally. Pop back up as a ghoul. So whenever you see him in our door games, he's presented as the ghoul. He's actually much better looking. And his elven self much better looking for sure, but he was my raid buddy, and so it's okay if I've killed him off in this story, because we keep rezzing him and he keeps showing up to save the day when we do Dragonflight. So that's how we keep Jik coming back. So that's all right there. We're gonna do that today. I hope you liked my story. I may still edit it out a little bit more, but for now, I think I'm happy with it. And if you like it, please let me know. Just to tell you a little bit about my new bedroom, I made this using a creative AI. And blue being one of my favorite colors, and of course black leather, black silk, that all works for me. Blue velvet curtains, though. That's actually, yes, coming from my real world. So... and I love stained glass windows. I just like it. I don't know why. Of course, not with church pictures. Just some geometrics and non-conforming squiggly shapes. That's also very me too. Now, I don't have a sneak peek for you today in a visual, but this story has never been heard before as my rewrite of a public domain, which I credited above, and I will credit it also in the comments in the episode description area once I do produce the video for it. So keep an eye out. Yeah. And, so I don't have any live subscribers on at the moment. I'm still a new VTuber, and everyone is in different time zones tend to watch these shows after the fact, so that's okay. And I do know some of our subscribers that have overnight jobs that do tune in to listen to these stories to help them fall asleep on their breaks. So they live by different time schedules and stuff. So there's that. So this leads me to, what personal ghost story have I collected? Alright, well, if these things are real, and it's not just a child's imagination, I grew up in two houses, and in the second house is where I would say everything happened. There was a period of time where our family was growing, so the basement where we used to play, or the playroom, became my bedroom. And before it was my bedroom, it was my brother's, but he went off to university, and so then I got it next. But I actually wasn't so comfortable in the basement because I felt I was too close to the sub-basement, I call it. It was like a side split house, so part of it was above ground, part of it was below ground, and the below ground part was like, there was a deeper part that was fully submerged, and then there was another part that you could walk out and climb upstairs to go out. So it was different. But I always felt that there was something there, and I would sometimes feel as though when I'm about to fall asleep, my bed was being grabbed by a strong force and shaken away from the wall and then pushed back on the wall. Boom, like that. Boom, and I'd wake up, and I sometimes felt like I was being poked a lot, like tap, 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 all around my shoulders, front and back, so there was no way I could turn to not have it happening. It was very aggravating, but also frightening because you couldn't see anybody there, make them stop touching you. So one of the things I do as an adult, whenever I move, and I've moved a lot, I do the smudging stuff, and I have someone feng shui for me. Usually my sister will feng shui for me, and I'll keep smudging and stuff. But the other thing I do is other things I learned to do in rituals, that if whether it's real or it's something that you do to just ease your own mind from your own imagination attacking you, whatever you really believe, if you believe in it, I'm not sure, but if it is something, to ask things not to touch me, to ask don't show yourself, because I don't want to die of fright before my time. Wait until I'm on your side and then we can talk. Learning to cleanse things, open up windows, send things out. Nothing bad is allowed to be here, only anything good. But then I sometimes didn't want to do that either, because I believe that if we do cross over somewhere, everyone in my family has crossed all the way over, so they're all on the other side now, and I don't want to meet anything else if I never met you in life, because I don't know you. So there's that. But there was a point at which, and you always hear like this knocking on the wall that on the submerged side was like basically flush against my side, which was half above ground and half underground. And what I found was, if it was lucid dreaming or wake up to, or dreams, I don't know, but I believe that I was waking up to two men and a woman. There's always been threes following me, always in threes. The older woman looked like she's in her 80s and looked like kind of like a pioneer of sorts. And I registered the one man as like in his 50s and the son of the woman, and then a younger man, I will say around 21, hiding his face under, I'll say, a dark cowboy hat, always to the wall behind them, watching and enjoying my fear, I guess, my discomfort, and their anger and confusion. And I always felt that she was the one. Hi, welcome viewer. So I'm in the middle of telling my ghost story, waking up to this old woman in her 80s and the man standing behind her shoulder, and both yelling at me. I feel in some kind of old type of German, and I'm not German, but that's how I registered it. And the one silent one, I felt to be honest, might have been my neighbor who had passed away very young. But I did know him. He and his sister sometimes babysat us, and he died, unfortunately, of some bad choices, which happened after some bad things happened to his life that weren't his fault. And unfortunately, was adopted. His sister was adopted, and we think the people that adopted them really didn't want or love kids, and so bad things happened, and he died early, leaving behind his sister. And I feel it was him watching this, aware of it, and just like embittered, still embittered by what had happened to his life, which really wasn't fair. But I never did anything. I was a kid who questioned things, and he would say things embittered. He made some bad choices in his situation, and I feel it was him as the third watching the other two. And when, this was very terrifying for me as a little kid. I didn't want to sleep down there, so I got it in my head to try to make things more like a home for the basement, and I pushed out my cedar chest, which was made by an Amish guy. So it was made in an old-fashioned, like pilgrimy, pioneery style, with a recognizable wood and a smell with cedar. And I placed a really nice, my grandmother's silver tea set on top of it. And I'd make tea, and I would leave the tea there, and I had it set in the hallway. The hallway was like an L shape, but my door and the door to that sub-basement were there, so I would keep the door open instead of closing, because whenever my parents closed it, that's when all the knocking and the poking and the moving of my bed would happen, and it frightened me. And it was a big fight with my parents because they wanted everything shut, keep the bugs and the dust somewhere else, and I was like, let them out. So it wasn't a comfortable argument to have, and I would leave it open and leave the tea there. And I never drank the tea. I would pour out whatever's left over, but I think, okay, maybe if someone wasn't drinking the tea, then it evaporated. I would evaporate overnight. I don't know. But, I'd toss what was left. But the banging and the questioning stopped. Now, as I got older, I did some investigating about the area. And what I found out was, before it was a subdivision, in the years that we had moved in, it had been an apple orchard as part of a farm area. And the final, like the grandson of some pioneers, or great-grandson of some pioneers, it had been handed down for a couple generations. When his dad handed it to him, he decided to sell it to these people making this subdivision. When we moved in, not everything was developed yet in the area. It's fully developed now, of course, but at the time. So the link is potentially Germanic background. These farmers were pioneers from like Eastern Europe, and they had been farming. So I think if I were to take that information and understand it, perhaps the woman and her son didn't understand why we were on their property, angry that we were trespassing on their property, and by using the cedar chest, which was from the style, the Amish and the Mennonite. Sorry, it was Mennonite. They still do things the way they were done in the 1800s, so they would have recognized what that was, recognized the smell of it, recognized the silver tea set, recognized the tea, and I think that's how I made peace with them. And I haven't seen them or felt their presence since. The younger man that I think was my neighbor, he did with the next set also appear again a few times in my, we'll say, lucid dreaming. And I don't know if that kind of thing happens because you knew somebody when they were alive, you were used to seeing them around all the time, and now you don't, so your mind plays tricks in memory to recreate a pattern that it's used to receiving, or if it is what it is. But basically, eventually, I went to a priest. Our families went to the same church, and I was told another superstition is burn your old palm leaves. So if anyone out there is Catholic and they do Easter Sunday, you get new palm leaves every year. And my culture, we make them into crosses to put over your doors and stuff. But what I didn't know is that you take the old ones, you don't just toss them away. You burn them, you get the ashes blessed by a priest, and you put them at the four corners of your house to bless your house and its protection. So I actually did that, and yeah, I never saw my neighbor appear again, but I hope he is in peace. He did leave behind a child with a girlfriend, so there's something of him still in the world. And yeah, I hope they're on the other side, and I hope there is another side. But that's my little ghost story of the evening. I want to say welcome in, viewer. I can't see who you are. Is that Hero Flame? Is it Tisha Adams? Is it Dark Alice? If you're someone new or one of my new subscribers, thanks for joining us. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to my channel. I'm Venus Callida, and I would love to have you. We'd like to grow as a community. And since I've told my stories for the evening, we are open to the chat portion. Is there anything you'd like to talk about tonight, or anything you'd like to ask me? Also, I should do this. This has become, I never planned this when I started VTubing, but it's become a thing. So today I have water in a water bottle. It's my last portable water bottle. I've got to get new ones. But I am raising my water bottle to toast everybody out there to your health and mind. It's Hero Flame. Hello, Hero. How are you tonight? I am toasting to you right now. I was hoping you would pop in. So, Hero Flame, I've got lots of news from my personal world. Do you feel like a chat tonight, or do you feel like drifting off to sleep today? Thank you so much. I thought I'd find something new. My black nightie was blending in too much with my little silk sheets here. I may have some good news. It's going to mean a lot of work, but I had some good news come in 2 days ago. I by accident and by deliberately I haven't checked my emails to see what my employer will say, but I did get hired from that last interview that took a month to find my references because they went on vacation. And they went into the land where there are no cell phones and no one could find them, but they got a hold of the interviewer just this week when they came back and saw my messages, so they talked to her and she's hired me. You're willing to listen? Yay. The only thing I don't know is I asked her if I could confirm that it is a permanent contract position, and I have to check what she said, and I asked when I'm supposed to report for duty, so it could be any time in the next 2 weeks, which will mean that soon I won't be online as much as I am. I'll still do my shows at night. So I think your idea of keeping everything at 10, except for Tuesdays. Tuesdays is at 8. But all the other things I'm keeping at 10. So today I started at 10. I know I usually start at 11. And I'll make schedules as I go along every month and stick them in our community tab. But yeah, I may be very busy this year because the first 2 years when you're permanent, they do a lot of evaluations. It's a lot of paperwork. Yeah, so, but I really did try to do a lot of videos this summer while I had the time. And I was meaning to do things so that I could post them in advance so you guys will still see new things coming out. I just ended up finding that it takes me so long to make some, and still I'm making mistakes in some of them, but I'm posting them anyways just to keep me rolling along, trying to beat that out, find that algorithm and make it work for me. Hoping to find subscribers. So yeah, so I mean, I'm still trying until I can't, and then once I get this job, if it is permanent, going to be looking for a place to move closer so that I'm not doing as much of a commute, which would also mean I'm home sooner and I don't have to leave as early in the morning, which would free up some time So I don't know if you had a chance to hear, but today I read a script for a new story. There are actually two new, this and something else I wrote that was purely original for the Brave Immortal Soul series, that I haven't developed very much yet. And so I've got them both. I read one tonight and I think I like it. And the other one I like, which will further the story of rescuing Msoul from the tent he's detained in, and we left him there last year in November and never got him out. So that's written, and I just have to produce the visual videos for these two. But I think the Brave Immortal Souls series, it will never be videos like I do for the little things like let's look at lions or let's look at cats, because of the characters involved. But I'll do my best to have something behind the visuals in keeping with how I did my debut story, my backstory. So that's all in the works. I have so many things and so many directions in my mind and that I've started on Google Slides or in Curl presentations, but it's just the time I need. I really don't have the time I need to do all of it, even if I have the want to do it all. At some point I have needed to stop and sleep this week, and I stopped and went swimming, which I'm still swimming. I haven't lost any weight this month, but I've kept off the weight I lost last month. I'm hoping that will change soon though, because I'm also adding walks into my routine. So now I'm walking in the morning and I'm having my breakfast out at a park that's nearby instead of in the house, so to keep me moving around and out there. Thank you so much, Hero. And Hero, have you noticed that I've tried to find a way to make you a part of my lore? You are the rock nut thing from my Singing Monsters. I tried to copy it. It's a bad copy job because it was such a tiny pic. It's hard to find it, but I'm gonna go into the game next time we're in the game and I'll replace it. But I made you one of our options in the door games I've been making. So in those little adventures of Venus where it's hug or prank, and the other one was kiss, marry, or obliterate. Basically, I noticed that there were these fun games, and also because I know we got some younger viewers, it's just all in fun to try to build the lore of my world, our little sci-fi fantasy world here for Venus and all of us. And I've given some names places. I guess I'll use some of these names of places in the story I read tonight too. I made them up. But I did look up meanings of words before I put them together. Yeah, and tomorrow we're actually scheduled to have, I think we have a guild meeting tomorrow? I don't know. You are part of my work. You are the first brave soul to actually talk to me in the live chats. Not even people who knew me who were there online were talking to me in the live chats. Although some of the people in my gaming world are warming up to being seen working with me when I'm doing Dragonflight. One of them has been here with us, and one of them has actually had their voice let me record knowing that I was live, so their voice is there guiding me through trying to air myself, like trying to teach me how to do this back in the beginning. That voice is Noriyama. Yeah, I have a song for Noriyama, and he's even helped me edit it, but I haven't finished producing it yet. I'm not happy with the second half. I want to mess with it some more, and I'm also looking at sources of music. But there is a song, I just haven't produced the video yet, where we're going to have a second Follow the Bouncing Head of Venus instead of Follow the Bouncing Ball for songs. I'm going to do it. It's a thing. And that's the fault of Eternal Flame, my very first subscriber, who was a red-bearded dwarf paladin from the World of Warcraft, the one who brought me into the game, the first guild I was ever in. He's not in our stories yet, but I have involved him in the door games, and there will still be 2 more door games coming. So I've got so many things written. I have lost. Unfortunately, I had a computer crash. I don't know if you know. Dark Alice knows. But I had a computer crash where I lost some of my slide decks, and a lot of scripts were lost. of the scripts that I hadn't produced yet. So I was a little upset. So some of the ones I've been producing this week aren't the original scripts. My first ones were a little bit funnier, but I would recommend, if you have the time, I personally think it's a funny one. The one called Lazy, to honor the National Day of Being Lazy. Not that lazy people need a day. But I tried to be funny in that. I tried to show being lazy in different ways. Like I didn't set up the background screen to fit the screen properly. My head is like cut off in places. And other stuff. But yeah, and I tried to show like a video of what my lazy day would look like, fill it with my lazy day stuff. And there's a sneak peek of me, a photo I put in there. I've used it before somewhere else, but just a sneak peek. If you're curious, I'm in there. Somewhere in the middle. Or near the end. But it's somewhere in there. It's all sandwiched between everything else. Every once in a while, I'm going to put me in there just a little bit. Also, I have some fun things coming out. There's a new timer coming out. There is an error in it visually because I didn't know. My computer kept telling me I couldn't download a picture, and I kept trying to convert it to different, like JPEG, NPEG, JPG versus JPEG, and then it turns out they all were popping in somewhere else in the video, not where I was looking. So whatever reason that happened, I just left it because it took me days to get the original one done. But it's coming out on the 13th, so if anything's going to be unlucky, that's going to be on the 13th. But to me, it's kind of funny too, because of what it was. But, yeah, I'll just keep going. Even when there's errors, I'll just keep going. Because I think I have to flood the market with my videos. Now, is there any topic you would like to talk about today? Or any topic you'd like me to focus on? Also, if you have ideas for something or a theme you'd like me to cover, you can always just let me know and I will turn it into something. I can't promise how long it will take me to do, but there's a lot of stuff I have written up that I just have to get them punched out. So this week coming up, what? Never give no what? What? I can't see. You've got a word covered by a big red heart, and I don't know. How was your day? That's it? Never give no matter what. What do you mean never give no matter what? How was your day? Oh, it's not letting me. Oh, the heart's on my side. There's something new happening in my chat space. Steamlab's got fancy on me. He's got a big giant heart, but it won't let me pop it in because I didn't sign into chat. And I don't want to do it while I'm live because I'm worried that it will boot people. Never give no matter what. Well, I have a few timers planned as my backup stuff because they're odd numbers. Today what I did, I actually went outside on my balcony to talk to my tomato plants and my flowers because they're actually pulling along pretty well considering the storms we've had. I went and I bought these giant like barbecue sticks for making giant shish kebabs, I guess. And I used them to be my tomato ladders, I guess, and I pinched them all up so that they don't tangle with each other. And then I tried to suntan because between 6 in the morning and 8 in the morning it was very sunny, and I don't get sun at the second half of the day. I get it just for a bit in the beginning. So I try to even out the parts that you can't tan in public. Because my balcony wall is solid. I really do a lot on my birthday soon. I think you kind of hit on that the last time. You were kind of shocked by something you found out. And asked me a question. I caught that. But so I tried to even out things that God gave me, and then I went out and I decided on I'm not going to regular coffee shops or like the conglomerate place anymore, but there's this bagel place that I never go to, and I went there and I asked for a tuna sandwich, and it doesn't matter, when they open in the morning, they're ready with my tuna sandwich. And I took that with me to this park that during COVID, so many people were there all the time. You could never park there. I could never get parking. But now that COVID's over, not a lot of people are there in the daytime because they probably have day jobs, and I'm not working just yet. So I got to park, and I've been walking the trail, reading all these dedications. Um, it's a place that right now it's all landlocked and north of the bay, but apparently, according to these signs, which surprised me, this is actually, we were standing on, this park is the top of what was an island surrounded by water during the times when the glacial, the whatever icebergs and stuff from the ice ages were melting out. And now that they've all drained out of the area, now it's all like we can go down. Well, we're at the top, so I'm in the northern part of something of a bay, and there's a water there. I can see the water from where I am, and then on the other side is the flat side. So I guess that flat side was covered in water, and where we are was the island. And so that's interesting. It's also interesting to me because all the tornadoes, they seem to spin around us, and then they pick up steam over the water. They always head south away from us, and then they land down and wipe out the houses down there. So I'm very puzzled by why the rich people keep building their houses down there, because they keep being wiped out. But they can afford to build again, so I guess, why not hit them instead of us? I don't know. But we're on the top of the island, of what used to be an island. I found that fascinating. So yeah, I learned something new today about this area that I'm living in right now. Still lots of trees, and the farms are nearby. And I learned that there was a period in early 1900s, late 1800s, where it was a golf course. People have been here for quite some time. Yeah, in the 1800s they were here, and they found longhouses, but they buried them with new subdivisions. That's different, but that happens around here. And then, yeah, so reading all these little signs on the trail was interesting. So I've added walking in the morning, like deliberate longer walks, to my day this week because I needed to do something more because my weight has plateaued. And I mean, between 4 and 6, I'm awake up until 8 o'clock if I'm not swimming or tanning out there with my tomatoes. I am writing scripts. And I'm trying to make myself not sit so much because I'm missing the summer. In the winter, when it's cold out there, I won't mind so much. But I mind that I have so many ideas and so many things I want to do. But at the same time, I feel like by the 22nd of July, I felt like I was missing the summer too much. And then I started coming away more. So I've added these walks to balance it out. And I went and I walked around an area that used to be part of the back end of a soccer field where you could have a game of baseball or something. And they've carved it up this year and turned it into spaces where people can pay the town an amount of money that they can grow vegetables there, specifically for home use. So it's like community gardens. Although they're not allowed to go sit with their plants or play with their plants or whatever, the gardener from the town is in charge of, you buy the stuff you want, he'll put it in, and then at the end of the year when it's time to harvest it, then you can come and harvest it. And they have little signs saying, please don't pick our vegetables. Some people did put like fencing or like chicken wire around it all, and others didn't. They just trust. But it was amazing to see all the bees there. Especially around the mint plants. It was interesting. Yeah, it is interesting history. I like finding out things like this because we never know what we're standing on. When I was in school, I didn't mean to become what I am. I actually wanted a different direction, but learned that I couldn't make money at it because for the lack of benefits and retirement packages in the fields of archaeology and stuff. I mean, most people have discovered everything, I guess. But what you're looking for, other people have already done it kind of thing, sort of. I guess Egypt still has its surprises, but around here, not so much. We know what's there. You've already made sure there's no gold in it. So the rest, do you want to invest in unburying it? I don't know. But yeah, somewhere out there, in a muddy forest, in a bog, in Cape Breton Island, are one of my running shoes, a Ked. And so when we graduated from It was a historical, it was the very first, it was the trial run. They picked one person from each province of our country, so I represented my province, and we went over there, and we were the first to do this course for like a historical presentation and conservation certificate that's still offered by that. It was at the time a college, now it's a university, and so we were part of that pilot program, and because we also helped to like rank everything and rate it and give feedback for them to build on. They took us to all a bunch of museums and stuff. All of us wanted to work in museums at the time. I loved archaeology. Anthropology was interesting to me. I just wanted to know how people survived. I was very curious about people. That's been fixed out of me since my last 20 years up north. But I had that since I was a child, that feeling of I'm breathing in a first breath when someone's breathing their last, and I'll breathe the last breath and someone's going to breathe it in their first, and we'll never meet. And there's all these people all around the world right now that are surviving. We're all breathing in and out together, and we may never meet, but maybe I'll meet some. I don't know. I wanted to know how the world survived. And I'm very sad to know how much struggle there is and how much unnecessary war and all the bad stuff, but and I've seen quite a lot. And but I really did try to travel this world what I could. I would never go deliberately to a war zone if I know it's in war, but I've been in places that have had bombs go off in the buildings across or beside me and stuff like that. But not me. I was never injured, so don't worry. But I mean the sadness in seeing what desperation and poverty are. What happens to kids when they don't have a dad. There's so much stuff. I won't get into it too much, but just touching on it, there's a lot that shocked me moving through this world. Yeah, I'm glad we've met in the virtual world and get to know each other better, and thank you for supporting me and coming back. It's actually been a huge encouragement for me because I really wasn't sure in those first months if I was ever going to get anybody to log in. Because even though I know people know that I'm doing this, they have their own lives and kids, and they're dead tired when they get home from work. It's like, or it might not be their thing. Like I wanted to do a thing about healing from traumas and stuff, and I was warned not to get too deep or heavy with things because I don't want to depress anybody, but I just wanted nothing to be taboo because that's how I really am. And at the same time though, but it all boils down to I've had such a struggle to be able to sleep. There's so many reasons why that is a thing. So many people are exhausted and tired and they don't have a safe place to sleep, or it's hard to sleep even if they're in a safe place to sleep. There's different reasons, and people are in so much pain that they can't sleep. And so I wanted to be a help for that because I know how it's probably shortened my life, how little I sleep. And it does, I'm always so exhausted. So this summer I've actually caught up on a lot of sleep, to be honest, even though I didn't want to. My body has reached a point in my life where this year I've started to pass out. And I think it's sleep. I don't think it's fainting spells. Like, it's not, although I can't be sure because one time it was my heart stopped. I actually feel that I must have the soul of a cat because I've offed a couple of times and I keep coming back. I keep waking up. But I think I'm on my 6th or 7th life by now. But yeah, I'm rambling, but I'm actually being serious, and things have happened, and I just don't know what my goals are anymore, but wanting to make this VTubing a success has become a goal. Something I shied away from years. I wish I hadn't fought it so much when people from the gaming world were telling me to do this. I should have done it back in those days, and then I'd have my subscribers by now. But giving this a try. I still haven't finished traveling the world. It's just, you need the money to do it. So this job, if it is a real job, I've got a big list of things that need to happen, and then I'm gonna travel. And so maybe I'll meet even more of my guildies and all that. and I don't even know where to travel. Thank you so much. I can control my voice. I used to have a really sexy receptionist voice, but I cut that out. My voice has changed over the years. I have a couple of times made myself unable to speak because of cheering at sporting events. And sometimes when I have laryngitis, I do sound like a mafia princess and my accent comes out. But I'm actually shocked with the accent I'm hearing coming out of my mouth. I don't hear it when I'm speaking. People make fun of me, for my American friends especially make fun of me for it. But when I listen to my videos, I'm like, when did I start talking like that? But I've lived across the north. I live the first half of my life around my family. I could have sounded like an immigrant to anybody, but living now in the last, I'd say, 10 years with white people, I'm gonna call them white people, the Anglo-Saxons. Hey, Delta Ray, welcome in. It's nice to see you coming back. Thank you for joining our group. Hero Flame, one of my very first subscribers. Please meet Delta Ray, one of my very most recent subscribers. I'm so happy that you joined us. So we're in the chat portion of Tuck In and Chill. Delta, is there anything you'd want to talk about tonight? Basically, I just read a story I'd never heard before that's going to end up being produced into a video for my Brave Immortal Souls series. I had recently written 2 more chapters, if you will, for the lore of my character, Venus Callida. And this is the night where I try to help people fall asleep, and if they can't sleep, I'm trying to keep them entertained until maybe they can doze off. So I've lived in a lot of places, and I've traveled a lot of the world, and with that I've collected a lot of ghost stories of my own that Reddit has never heard. So I also told one of my ghost stories tonight after I read from my story, The Brave Immortal Souls. And yeah, I was just telling Hero that I still have some travel plans in my future. So maybe I'll meet some people one day. So Delta, tell us about yourself. What would you like me to chat about tonight? Ooh, so there is something else. So I found out in a town north of where I am, there is this Witches and Wizards. I forget what it's called. It's basically a Harry Potter, but we can't call it Harry Potter or they get sued by the author's people. So it's a Witches and Wizards thing, and the 2 guys that own the Freaky Wizard shop that I hang out at, the coffee shop where I go to the Game Inventors Club on the Tuesday nights that I do Riddle Me Snack Night. It's going to be on the 22nd this month, and they're going up there with all their stuff to sell at a table. So I was going to go up there, and I'm going up. I'm going to do a Slytherin look, which I've cosplayed it for a couple of years now, but I'm still not tired of it. I've actually stopped trafficking this outfit, so I wear these black like pull-up socks that go above the knee, and then I have my it's hidden platform shoe, but it looks like a high top, but inside it gives me 2 extra inches on the high top, so nobody knows I'm as short as I really am when I go out in public. And then I'm gonna wear my robe, but I never do up the robe, so it can flap open when I'm walking across the street. And I'm just gonna wear my black short shorts with a black t-shirt. I have a black t-shirt with a gold inscribed Hogwarts house symbol on it, so I'm gonna be wearing that. It looks like a baseball shirt, except it's black and gold, and the gold is glittery. It's shiny like the lame silk screening. And then what I do though with my hair is I do a snake braid around my head, so all my hair is up, so I don't have anything flowing, and I paint a snake across my one eyebrow, and the way I bring it down around my eye is something I saw online one year on Google, so it is some other girl's design, but I do it. One time it was an albino snake, one time it was green, one time it was black. I don't know how I'm going to feel in the morning, but one of those is going to be on my eye, and I'm gonna go in a costume, and I'm gonna cosplay a Slytherin up there for this event, and I'm hoping to have a good time. They promised butterbeer, and I really want butterbeer because I cannot afford to go to Universal Studios in Florida. So I want to have myself a butterbeer, man. And I'm going to do that tomorrow. So I did the extra exercises. I've been extra walking and swimming today. I actually just went swimming again. You can still smell the chlorine on me before I got into the house to do the tuck in and chill tonight. So I'm feeling pretty good. And I was tempted at first to maybe go buy a hamburger on the way home, and I thought I'll get a slice of pizza. And then I looked at the calories on the menu, like, no, I know I'm having butterbeer tomorrow, and I do not want to gain back any weight that I lost this summer. So I actually was motivated. I came back here, I ate more of my watermelon, and I did have a few pieces of beef, though. I've been making lettuce sandwiches, so I got the fancy Dijon mustard to try Dijon mustard. And I heard that it used to be made with champagne or white wine. And I think it still is white wine, but it used to be champagne, which was from Dijon, so that's the name. I don't know. All I know is that it's a weird kind of a mustard, but I just wanted a different flavor to shock my system. And I make these lettuce sandwiches, and it was pretty darn good. I actually added cucumber to it today. So a lot of water-holding foods. But I'm pretty satisfied, and so I was a good girl. And you know what, since Delta's here, Delta, one of the things I do is I'm drinking water, and today I have a water bottle. There's just a little bit left. I got 1 inch left. I'm gonna cheers you guys now before Delta leaves again. So this is what I do. So I raise my glass. So I'm raising my cheap old plastic water bottle to you guys. And because Delta, you may not know this about me, but I've spent many years in the Arctic Circle, north of 60, the real Arctic, where the Inuit are, and the Eskimo, like the igloos and the seals and all that business, the narwhal, and that was me up there living there. And I actually used to net char and send a fish home to my dad for Christmas. Big things. They were awesome. I used to do that. But water was one thing that has almost killed me 3 times, because while people think the country I'm in has lots of water, a lot of it's poisoned. A lot of it's poisoned from industrial waste, mining waste, and PCB dumping grounds before they turned them into reserves for the Native people to honor treaties that weren't being honored in the first place. So people got really sick, and I was one of them, and I'm lucky to be here. So that's part of why I do what I'm doing now, trying to help people. And I'm not trying to nag, but I'm just trying to say, if you can access clean fresh water easily, you're a very lucky person, and it really makes a big difference on your health. So I raise my glass of water because I'm now living in a place where I can get clean water every day and not have to be scared and drink it. So I am drinking to your health and mine, everybody, and wishing you the very best happy week. And I'm gonna chug this down right now. Not the best budget for ASMR sounds, but that's the budget we got. That's what you get. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, it's been a long road, but I've been one stubborn little thing, and I've done what I've had to do to turn things around as best I can. There's still more to do. I think it's a work in progress for our whole life. I don't want to feel like owned by it, and I definitely taken a week to do different things, but I'm seeing improvements, and so I'm here to say it can happen. It can be done even when you think you're too far gone, or you're the biggest you've ever been, or you're the sickest you've ever been. I've been very lucky, but to pull through some things, and I've had the luck of being where I can finally get to, like, the medical evacs and stuff, get to a city, get to a doctor, and all that business in time. And I was lucky in June to get benefits access for 1 month. Boy, did it hurt my feelings to know how much benefits a teacher in this part of the world gets. I know in the States teachers aren't paid a lot. I don't know what their benefits are like, but up here north of the States, that's the best job you could have if you can get a permanent contract. The benefits they have, wow, they're better than anything I've ever heard of. And I told my parents all about it. I'm like, we've never, we've always worked for ourselves, and to find out that you might not have to pay a thing and get your teeth, if you have a cavity and they just fill it, wow, So in June, having benefits for that 1 month, I went to every kind of doctor I could to check out everything that I could get at that time. And I got over $1,000 worth of dental work done, and I paid $97. And usually I have to pay over $400 for one tooth. So yeah, it's really nice to have benefits. I think that's why a lot of people buy into things like Blue Cross and stuff like that, to make sure you have some coverage if you have to go to a hospital. I remember not having Blue Cross, and I was screwed because an emergency evac costs you $40,000 to $60,000, and there's no province in this country, or state, if you will, that helps you to pay for it. It's your debt alone, but you're paying, you're wiping out your bank account so you can stay alive. So yeah, that was the position I've been in a couple times, which is when I quit and I came back down to the city and hoped, and it took a couple years to get back into my own field at the bottom. They don't honor your tenure anywhere, and starting from the bottom. So this is good news that I had yesterday that I'm hoping is real, and I'm hoping they honor their word, because I've met some school boards that don't. They say they'll give you permanent, and then they work you like a dog, and then they don't keep their word. And so I'm hoping, waiting. I think everything will be finalized for me next week, then I'll know. And but in the meantime, I've been bulleting along and finishing scripts as early as I can. So there are some things that are posted to pop for you guys over the next week or so that I've already finished and posted. It's scheduled reveals, I guess we'll call it. And then if I get this job, once I start in September, then I won't be popping in as much ad lib for unscheduled games. And I know that gaming is how I meet more of the people that join us, so I should have done more of it, but I really do want to do my stories. And I did put that aside for a while at the beginning, trying to beat those analytics, but I cannot figure them out. So I wanted to go back to doing my stories and stuff, which makes me feel better about. I definitely met my goals of plumping up some of those playlists. And now that I made the mistake of turning a playlist into a podcast, I don't know how to turn it back. So that's a problem, because I can't just get in and out. I don't know if anyone can access my most populated playlist, because they're podcasts. And I think a podcast is supposed to be like a radio show. Haven't figured this out yet, but I just called it podcast because YouTube told me to make some. So I have no idea what I'm doing in there still. So much to learn. For every one thing I finally think I've mastered, there's something more I do wrong. But we'll fix it eventually, I guess. No. I'm thinking what I might do. Don't hate me for this. I may very well make you watch me play Harry Potter while I chat with you guys, because you're still here and you're still awake. I don't know. I didn't have an extra story planned. I don't want to play you one of the things that's already in the playlist, because you've seen them before maybe. So let's do this. I'm switching a screen here. You're probably hearing me click around. Alright. We're going to leave my bedroom, but I'm going to keep this little dolly on. And let me see. Let me see if I can pick it up. I'm using a different screen. Oh, it might just pick it up too. Let's see if I can. See if I can get it. Yeah, now if you guys want me to chat about anything specifically, I will. You just have to tell me what you want. So game, I thought I captured the game. Did, so why is it not showing up? The gamer window says that it's capturing my game, but it's not showing me the game. Let me see, I wonder. Where is the gamer window? Maybe I pushed it so far off screen one day, not understanding. Anyways, since you're staring at me, let's play the ghost. Woo. Woo. I have to, you're learning my tricks. It stops here and I can't change my pants, so that's why you got this view today. Okay, so definitely it's not, so I'm going to change my screen because the gamer window's not actually picking up the game. That's very strange. I hope you like my bedroom. I made that with AI creative programming. I still say it's my work. Unique to me, I hope. Let's show it again. Here we go. Perfect. I don't know what I'm channeling. Who in the world would dress like this? Who am I channeling if I'm dressed like this? Is there anyone in Harry Potter that would dress like this? I think I'll stick her on this side. Takes up less room there. She just looks like an angel. I should find a halo. Just to be a real smart aleck. Okay, so here we are. I'm at level 2797. I certainly lost the broom race earlier this morning. I just couldn't make many wins. I might have been, it didn't give me any. Someone must have beaten me, but I was second place at one point before I logged out, and then I never went back in. And now instead of that, we have the Quidditch match. Ooh, let's finish that. I actually have 3 lives left in there, so I'm not done yet. We're playing Dark Markers. I think that's a fabulous name for a bunch of teachers that are mean. Dark Markers. I think that's hilarious. Okay, so we are on a lag. Whoop, I'm on puzzle number 2 and I've got 3 lives left. So I'll do this while we keep on chatting. I'm actually hopeful that I won't be the only one in my age group without kids wandering around. I know that at Universal you see a lot of people my age bringing their adult children because everyone grew up on Harry Potter stuff. So I don't feel left out or stupid because even couples are going there to see it. But this I don't know. Well, I'm gonna go find out. I think they said butterbeer. I want to try it. So I'm excited because every time I do something new, I collect a new story, and that means I'm never the boring person. Well, I run out of things to say here sometimes, but I'm never the boring person. To people that don't get out much, I'm telling them about stuff. I don't mind that. I'd rather be the storyteller. I'm definitely not gonna get the little timer things because nothing's really lining up to get anything. Ding, 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 ding. Oh, as I'm saying that, I'm staring right at it. Yes, please tell me a joke. I've actually collected some, I would say, dad-worthy jokes, dad status jokes for Joke Day, which is coming up this month. We're going to have an official Joke Day. What room does a ghost not need in a house? Mushroom? Bathroom. They don't need a bathroom, I hope. That would be awful if they needed a bathroom and they're in your house. That'd freak me out. Oh God. A living room. That's actually good. They don't need a living room because they're dead. Oh, that's so morbid. But I'm laughing nonetheless. Oh, that's awful. That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, I used to know so many jokes that I don't remember jokes anymore. I don't know why. Woohoo. Oh, I didn't win. Let's try that again. Okay. So, how does a gorilla stop a leaky pipe? How does a gorilla stop a leaking pipe? A monkey wrench. He uses a monkey wrench. Hi, Delta Ray. We can see you. Welcome back in. How are you tonight? We're doing pretty well. So, okay. How does a cheetah change their spots? How does a cheetah change their spots? Oh, that's a pretty good bump up. So a cheetah changes its spots by walking from one place to the next. Usually people get caught up on the spots of their body and are not thinking, like, change your spot as a practical thing. Anyways, I'm the dad joke girl. Oh, okay, I've got one more. Okay, so what do you get when you throw a watermelon into the air? If you throw a watermelon into the air, you get squash. Squash. Those are not at all the jokes you'll get on joke day, though. I will give jokes based on myself as a death knight, so there'll be night jokes, but I think they're funny. But yeah, joke day is coming up. I don't remember when, but it will be coming up. Oh, also to let you know that my Tuesday nights this month are themed on mermaids, so mermaid dinners. It's different, but they're actually really good. So it's just a fun theme. And then snack night's gonna be something more practical. Tisha Adam needs some stuff for like healthy things that you can make quickly but store up in the fridge or freezer so you don't have to keep cooking every single day. She's on the go right now. So snack night on the 22nd when I'm away for the Game Inventors Club thingy, and I'm actually going to be showing a hand version of a game I wanted to learn how to code to give you guys a video game, a simple video game based on being my fans, and I learned that the coding side was harder for me to learn than I thought. I need to take a course. I couldn't teach myself on my own, although I know I understand the theory, it's just not, some things are not clicking with me. So I turned it into a handheld game, and in its simplest version, I'm going to do a prototype on Tuesday, the 22nd, and there's still that. I could still do something with that if I can get that developed, and there is actually a company that might look at it because there's an educational value to it, but it is actually based on a premise from the stuff I talked to you guys about and what I've been through. And the toast I do with you, it actually links to all of that. And so it's interesting that it developed out of this stuff we do together, and since I've been in the gaming club, their feedback. So yeah, so if it becomes anything, then I will be updating you on that. And I think it's cute and fun. It's not finished at all, but I've got something they said in its simplest form, and then I write down all the feedback while I make decisions for it. I don't think I'm gonna win today. Oh, I didn't win this morning either. It's not my day. Oh, I missed out on opening up a chest there. Oh well. Oh well, we'll just have to wait until I get more lives. And I haven't visited this guy yet today. A little snag. Let's do this. Let's finish this off. Ooh, my phoenix is featured. I want my phoenix back. Mosquito, I'm calling him Mosquito, is very fun. He gives me a lightning bolt prize every once in a while to help me clear the board, which I don't mind at all. Oh, my avatar's not even. That sound is me testing. Why won't she rig? Rig. Hello? Oh man. So you'll just have to think that I'm reaching you with telepathy here. And never you mind that my avatar is being not cooperating with me. Come on, girl. Shake it off. Hello? Hello? Wah. There we go. Hi there. I don't know why she does that. Alright, she being me. I have to remember that. Okay. We've got to get the map to the door. It just wants to go around the one way. Okay. Oh boy. Green or purple? Oh, we got green. I've made your day with my bad jokes. I'm so happy to be of service. How are you feeling today, though, for real? I hope you're feeling well today. Oh, I'm not gonna win today. I'm so at the bottom of rebuilding my gold again. You know what? I like this little baby doll nighty thing. It's cute. I don't think I'd be wearing white, but I felt that the black was just blending in too much with my bed. I wanted to stand out in the room where I am. Isn't that what the belle of the ball should always do? I heard once someone explained to me like the bride was in the big dress on the wedding day because you want that anyone peeking in will know right away who the party's about. And that's why hosts dress with the most. Other random thoughts of the day. See, no one's here to stop me. No one's stopping me from rambling on. I'm just gonna do it. Oh. I think it can go. Oh, look, there it is. I have so many lanterns and flowers to get rid of. I don't think I can do it. Ah. Hero, do you ever check out my other playlists and stuff to see if there might be something there to help? Like, what if I could tailor a video for you on days like that? What would you want me to make the video about? What kind of themes or what kind of visuals would help? Is it I hope that you're not in pain. Like, I know I'm not a doctor, but I just know what I've been through, and oh, I'm not gonna win today. Because you know I'm posting. I won't be able to do it starting in September when I go back to work, but in the summer months I'm posting those celebrate the day different themes every day, and I'm getting it from the national calendar. It's not for one particular country. It actually acknowledges a whole bunch of stuff. I just picked the ones that are the fastest in my mind to create, or that like I get a nice inspiration from. And others I'll just do some other years, because some days there's just so much and some days there's not much, and so yeah. Yeah. Hero, it's not extra work. It keeps me in business. I can only generate so many ideas until I bore you all to tears. But I'm in this wanting to help people, because I feel like some of us people, we don't have people to encourage us or remind us that we're worth something, you know, and that can get on a person, even if they're not like directly aware that it's bothering them. It might be, and I know that from me, so I want to be that for people because I needed it too. And it's as much like helping me with healing. Like, I can't tell you, since I've been here and since I've been doing this, so many things have been triggering me. And I kind of talked about it a little bit with one of my friends, but a lot of things coming back to mind. A lot of things that I'm struggling with that aren't resolved, and it's like when I do this stuff, it's kind of like therapy for me at the same time, because I'm not going to pay for a psychiatrist. I'm not crazy. That's not my thing, and you know, culturally some people would never do it because of that. But for me it's just like I'm maybe not like a famous person, but if certain things are helping me, then I tell people about it. Maybe it will help them. Just because, you know what? There's a lot of things people never talked about with us that had I known, had people been talking about it, right now my situation might have been different. Might have been very different. But nobody talked about those things. And it's like, but knowledge is power. I think that's a big thing that's been coming to my mind lately. Like, it sounds silly, but when I'm doing these little recipe shows, I'm actually learning things about how much salt and sugar are really in foods. What is one of these alternatives? What is it? NutraSweet. There's a famous alternative to sugar, and I read about what it actually is. It's sugar, but it's bound with bleach. The stuff we put in swimming pools. I forget the name exactly of it. It's chlorine. And so, why do I want to put chlorine in my coffee? Why do I want to put chlorine in my tea? Actually, I've not been putting sugar in my tea at all lately. I've actually been having it with just milk, which is my mother's thing. And I never thought I'd be my mother, but I'm turning into her a little bit here and there, and I say, what are you doing to yourself? And then it happens. I was hoping my dad would last much longer in me. I liked being the athlete, but you know, I made fun of my grandparents for having very plain meals, but they lasted longer. Like they just put vinegar on their salad, which was just lettuce. And now I'm sometimes doing that because I've developed so many sensitivities and allergies to so many other foods, and there is no sauce out there on the market that doesn't have soybean oil or soy in it, and I can't have that because it actually shuts down your thyroid. Like, nobody knows, nobody talks about this, nobody's looking it up, so now I'm saying it, so maybe it helps somebody else out there. I used to eat so many like tofu and soy, like teriyaki stuff, and I could make a good teriyaki sauce actually, but I just don't anymore because it's soy. And so many types of, like lettuce, have up to 90-something% pesticides in it. So what are you doing when you're eating a lettuce? Eating pesticides. You are what you eat, right? Well, now you're making yourself sick, and it shuts down your thyroid. And then you can't digest food, and then you get very, very fat. And a lot of people think to do those diety things, but they're making themselves more fat because they're shutting down their thyroid more. And so, like, it's really hard to find food that doesn't have these things in it. It's very, very hard. Sometimes you just can't. And that's why living near a farm right now is a blessing for me. They're not so far away, that I buy from the farm, and then I process stuff, stick it all in the freezer. The freezer is the best, one of the best inventions next to the toilet as far as I'm concerned. It really is. I need a proper camping for me needs to be next to a Hilton so I can go in and use their bathroom, really. But yeah, I don't know. Depressing could come from a lot of places, and so I'm not sure what to do or say for your situation. You know, I'm gonna say start by, keeping yourself busy with something. I don't know if you look at these, but there's www.meetup.com. It's gotta be all around the world, but if you've got Wi-Fi, you could find it. Even if there's no group in your area, there are groups in like the United States that do free talks online. Like some people actually get together to knit or do like DIY projects. They're just making crafts or something at home, but they're just online together at the same time so they can chat if they feel like chatting while they do the thing. Thank you, Hero. Well, I'm gonna stick with it. I want to make this work I'm not going to disappear in a year. I know I'm a content creator, and that's what kills most VTubers. They run out of content. I'm not doing the sexy games that teenagers in this, I don't know, early 20s are, because I'm not there. But I think that's also why I kind of resisted it when I was younger. My friends wanted me to do it. I've never been that way. But I think it's better that I'm just being me. And I would say this, if I met my avatar, this beautiful blue-haired lady with legs longer than mine, but her boots are definitely, I wore lots of moon boots to be taller than I am. Yeah. I look tall in some pictures though, just because I had a good body line, but that's from dancing. If she and I looked each other in the face, I could say that she and I, her being a Death Knight, keeping in mind the gamer background of Venus, she and I have the same amount of scars and broken bones and such, so dislocations and punched out teeth, which you can't tell because I went to a dentist. That it's fair game if I'm asking her to go in there to a dungeon and battle things with an axe, that I have as many injuries as she does. Isn't that a thing to say? So, yeah. Ooh. I can't play with Dumbledore anymore. Okay, we're getting out of there. I still have all 6 lives. Well, okay, so can't play Quidditch. You can't play with him. I don't see a daily in this at all. Hang on. Do we not? We don't have dailies anymore? Whoops, hang on. I'm hitting all the wrong things. Okay. Oh, did you like that? Well, because I have actually made a set of thumbnails to use in the future when I remember to do it, to prepare new things. But okay. Okay, so in July of last year, I had to have a surgery. I'm going to say this straightforward here because I don't know why you're depressed, but in case you're dealing with medical stuff, and again, I'm saying I'm here by miracle, but I'm here. So nobody can shut my mouth. Nobody's here to stop me, right? I was going to launch sooner in VTubing back then in July with a different looking character. But then I came across, because I had to be in bed for 4 weeks, and because I'm single, and I don't live with anybody, and that's the power of me having a job, to be safe, I like to lock a door, know that I'm safe so that I can try to fall asleep, because that was not always the case in prior life. But I got myself here in a nice safe place. I'm sustaining it on my own, and that's why this job coming up is very important to me. But here I am now facing where I can't get up and just move around if I want to. But this had to be done because for 2.5 years, during the COVID years, I was hemorrhaging. Hey, Intrepids, how are you doing tonight? It's nice to see you. Have you been exploring any new ghost towns? Because I'm actually eager to see something new. And I wish when I see those doorknobs and door handles and stained glass, I wish you could just take it. Because if they're going to smash it all down, but then it's theft if we take it. And that's the sucky part, to save the old beautiful things. I'd like to do that. But yeah, Intrepids, I was just saying that this time last year, I was actually planning to launch as a VTuber in July, but I had a surgery, had to be in bed for 4 weeks. So I set myself up with a computer and other things all around my bed before I went in for my surgery, knowing that I'd be on my own and I can't just get up to the bathroom, grab food or whatever. So I put a mini fridge in there. I stuck my computer on top of it. Not exploring at the moment. You're in a 14-day water fast? What do you mean by a water fast? That scares me. You need water to live. A water fast. Is there something happening to your water supply? You're in New Zealand, right? What's happening there? You guys haven't had a big earthquake, have you? I know a terrible thing happened in Hawaii. Oh, and that's your neighbor. Is that guy affecting you guys? Like, are you getting refugees and stuff over there? It's actually very sad what happened there in Maui. I was thinking, like, it's a good thing people know how to surf and if they have boats to get in the water. Working hard. Self-love is awesome. No food, just water. Oh, you're drinking water. Okay. You're in Southern Australia. All right. I have family in Melbourne. My grandmother's youngest sister, who's still alive, was a war bride to an Australian guy, a soldier who came into our village and took her away. And so there's a whole, like, a little Italy over there with my peoples in it. I'm hoping to go there one day, but I'd have to empty my whole bank accounts because there's no way I could do that flight without having at least a half bed on the plane, and I've learned that that's very expensive. There is a boat, like there are, if I bumped around cruise ships from Hawaii to get over there to you guys, but it would take a long time that I don't have. Oh, congratulations. Congratulations on your new place. One day I hope to see it. That's on my bucket list of places I hope I see. Plus, I'd like to see a kangaroo and a koala bear live, but I just don't want to be punched by a kangaroo. I'd want to touch the koala bear. I'd want to treat it like a baby, but I know that's not right. But yeah, so this time last year I was gonna launch with a different character, but as I was saying to Hero Flame, because I was in bed for so long, I was watching a lot of ASMR videos and being shocked at so many of them and how sexualized a lot of them are. I know I'm not really sexualizing anything that I do here, and that's why I stuck to the war theme instead of the other lovey-dovey thing that younger kids are doing out there. I know it draws a lot more people for sure, but that's not me, so I wasn't going to be doing that. But I found this guy named Vox Akuma, and he's amazing. His voice is absolutely amazing. I remember in the month of July, I didn't want to launch, and I waited until I could afford to get a rigged avatar here, this one that you see, who's talking to you with telepathy again because she stops. Her rigging is not working lately. I don't know what's up. So just know I'm speaking to you from my heart, and that's why the mouth doesn't need to move. It's all telepathy. I got too scared to launch because I'm like, I'm not in the sex side of this stuff, so I need something else. So coming in from the gamer world, I kept my gaming backstory from the World of Warcraft is like where the inspiration came from, and my look came from that. And the look, you know, I can cosplay this. I wanted something that I could cosplay, and the decision is made for what we were dressing her in. And I do have a leather corset with steel whale boning. I do wear long gloves, and I do wear shin guards and knee pads when I play soccer. And I did grow up wearing moon boots in school because nobody had any idea how short I really was, because I wore lots of pants that hid that I was wearing moon boots. And even my what look like high tops are hiding they're like elevator shoes. It's hidden on the inside. It gives me 2 extra inches to balance out my leg length to the width of my body. And yeah, so the look is something I can actually do. And except I haven't figured out how to make these armband metal things he made. I'm looking at how he drew it, and I'd have to get some kind of elastic inside of the metal in order to make it all cling. So that's one of my party tricks I'm still working on. But because I saw Vox Akuma, I wanted an avatar that was equal to his looks. And I think she is. I think I am. And then I wanted one. He has different ranks for all his subscribers and the ones who pay different kinds of money for a time. And one of the ranks is called Vox's Sandals. And I thought it's so random and ridiculous. And I'm like, I can do that. So I have V's Bass Kickers. And that's why the last guild meeting had my boots. Just a picture of my boots. Standing there at attention, waiting for you guys to show up for my meeting. I'm thinking I can have a playlist or something called V's Boots. Or Bass Kickers. I think Bass Kickers because when I saw the Barbie movie, the only thing that really struck me, and I had no idea what to expect from the writing of the script for this movie, but basically, she was shown, and I hate them so much. I know so many people love them, but I hate Birkenstocks. They think they're so ugly. I know so many people find them so comfortable. But they're so ugly. And then the choice of the pink heels. I would have taken the pink heels, and I grew up playing sports. I would have picked the pink heels over Birkenstocks. So I turned and I made that little video short. Which one will you choose? If you look up which one will you choose, it shows Birkenstocks and it shows my Bass Kickers. Because I didn't know if I could swear on YouTube. If I want to monetize, I think I'm not allowed to swear. I don't know if you know about that, Intrepids. You never swear, so but I swear a lot, and I didn't at all. And there was one year where things went really bad, and all of a sudden I said one word in public with my friends who've known me since grade school, and they're like, do you need an intervention? Because you never swear. Something must be really wrong. And then the floodgate opened, and I've never been able to turn back. I'm like a trucker caught in traffic. It's really bad. And so because I can't say the word I want to say, I thought the fish that's closest to that word is a bass. So I made Bass Kickers, and I found little pictures of bass that I attached to my boots. So what I'm doing at the end of that video is I'm trying to kick bass. So my boots, I call them the Bass Kickers. And so if I had a rank, I'd call them the Bass Kickers. I don't know if you guys like that idea or not. But that's why, hero. That's my very long story for why I had a picture of my boots for the guild meeting. I guess I could do one for my gauntlets. I don't know. I was thinking of doing one rude video where you just see from the neck to the knees, but no, I didn't do it. You can monetize while swearing. Interesting. Well, I think I like this nickname for my boots, the Bass Kickers. Which I'll blame the Barbie movie for, but I don't know if you like it or don't like it. So you want to see more of my boots? I could feature something for my boots. I have to think about it, but I'm sure I could do something. Eventually, one day, my humor will come out, I think. For the grand story. I'm so sorry. A very long story. But again, nobody's here to stop me. But that's the story of my boots and why they ended up being for the guild meeting. I just ran out of... I think we're sick of seeing my marble wall. But what I've done here is I've collected a series of pictures, if my computer doesn't crash again, to try to bring my fantasy world of Venus's world, our imagined world around Venus, that's related to my guild meetings. And I want to take you guys to a tour. So I've made pictures you interacting with an AI, a creative AI, to try to show what the room looks like that the wall is in. And I found one that's pretty close. Not exactly what I want, but pretty close. And a tunnel to go to the dungeon, because you said you missed seeing the dungeon, the underground, and the ruins from the outsides. I've been trying to work on places outside the ruins. And now, because of this story I just told tonight, I've named some places. So, sort of building my world with you guys in it while we're here together. Through my guild meeting nights. So, that's more like again playing on the Brave Immortal Souls background story. But yeah. These bass kickers. Yep, I like it. And I'm still debating. I think I'm going to decide last minute whether or not I go to the Toronto Comic Con or Toronto Fan Expo, which is in a couple of weeks. But it's money and it's a lot of travel. And this year, I don't know. My fish, so the string of the fishing rod and the big fish that I made to do the one costume, which I really liked, which was my newest one that I had made last summer. It's been out there. It's been to a few shows, but the string broke, so now I can't do it. And so it leaves me just with my robe fur. I've retired other costumes. Like my best one ever was Jana Proudmoore, but I had to cut myself out of it the last time I used it, which was again last year, and I have not been able to fix what I did to get out of it. So I've retired it, but it was a beautiful costume at the time. Although I can still use the giant cape for something. I did have a Wonder Woman costume based on the 1950s comic book with her in a skirt. I did that version with the same cape that I used that I made for the Jana Proudmoore thing. But that's the one time I've been heckled by guys in a costume, and also like parents who wanted their daughters to take pictures with me. Some daughters didn't want to take pictures with me because I didn't look like the one on TV. So that's why I retired that one. Ironically, one I was afraid to be in, the dancing mushroom from Fantasia, which I had made because it's white and at my size, but something about it, or the way I did it, was flattering to my figure, and so I got compliments in that. And in the Wonder Woman one, which I think was done pretty well, tastefully, that didn't get a good review, although it looks right. But so I've sort of retired that one. And the horror creepypasta one I did for a couple years, no one was responding to it really, because creepypasta is kind of not the in thing anymore. I have cosplayed me, Venus, at the Yeti Con. It didn't get any, like, I just got compliments for my hair color. That was it. Everything else about it, I mean, I could have been a goth girl. It's alright. It just looked normal. Had my leather jacket to it. I don't know. But, yeah, so for the grand story, like, whatever I was trying to tell you there. Oh, there were other stories I was telling you there. I don't even remember. But there will be a joke day. There's a joke theme day coming up this month, and I have collected jokes from a Death Knight's perspective that I will be featuring. I don't know, and I haven't decided how many jokes to tell. So I think I have like I don't think I have less than 10 jokes. But I don't know, we'll see how it goes over. Here, I think you're the only one left. Everyone's popping in and leaving pretty fast. Maybe Wi-Fi is going down. So Intrepid is doing a water diet that's a lot of days. Well, I'm doing a lot more water than I used to, that's for sure. And I'm also feeling it when I don't keep that up anymore. Like, I think my body got used to having water, that I like drinking water. I feel cleaner. That's something that I notice, that I'm not drinking as much as I should when I go back to work. I might not have as much as I should. So I've got this I've blended a whole bunch of nice, healthy fruit smoothie stuff with the fruits I got from that farm. And they're all in the freezer waiting to go. Meh. I am a little. What is the time for you right now, Hero? I know my friend who moved to Malta this year is starting her life over, very brave. C. Vella, I call her C. Vella here. She's one of our subscribers as well. She's 6 hours ahead of me here. Just very brave what she did. Things here where we worked last year was pretty toxic, and some people were really discouraged from sticking with their profession. It just is too negative. And but I stuck to my guns, and I remember begging some people, please just come to work anyways, don't let them affect your career. You've got to pay for your stuff and everything in life, and I'm hoping it pays off. If I get the good news, you will hear the good news from me very soon. And for tomorrow, oh, so there will be a guild meeting. I actually haven't planned it. I thought we did a guild meeting this past Saturday, but I could be wrong. I just don't know. But we'll find out tomorrow night, because I am driving out of town for this event, but the event's going to end when there's still sun in the sky. So I'll still have a couple of hours. I won't get lost. Let's just finish this round, and then I might call it a night. So oh, I should have done something else. Oh well. I'm gonna get rid of all of those weeds so they don't grow. Burn it all down, flying fangs. The weather for us. So we've had quite a lot of rain this summer. Good for the farms, I think. But let's say I swim in the mornings. By the time I come out in the afternoon, it's raining most of the days this summer. And we've also had a hurricane. Tornado. Not a hurricane, a tornado. We've had a tornado. But they don't hit down where I am. They build up steam on my side, and they go across the lake, and then they land down over there. And so I'm okay. But we do get these warnings if we're out and about in our cars. Our cell phones get these emergency breakthrough text messages that tell us to get off the roads, that it's coming. So it's actually a pretty good system that we've got. And they give you as much warning as they can. So there's that. So we've got that little safety feature going for us. But I haven't had any blackouts this year. Last year there were blackouts in the summer. Usually we get blackouts in the summertime. But the energy companies have also taken to giving better discounts if you use things at night, not in the daytime and stuff like that. So there's been incentives to move people, their usages around. So maybe that's always the way, but seems to have made an impact for this summer. Usually in July there's somebody in my family from one of the towns we live in is dealing with blackouts, and it's so hot that people start going to hotels and stuff, like to get air conditioning. So, although the early morning, as I mentioned, like between 6 and 8 o'clock, there's a gorgeous sunshine up there usually. And the rains always seems to be in the afternoon. But I think it's because we're near a bay. Like there's a, at the bottom of the hill where I am is a bay. It's like water that people swim and boat in. People do ice fishing there in the winter time as well. Yeah, pretty much. And when it isn't, it's super hot out. It's been super hot out, really. Hmm. Come on, we need to win to get that chest of extra stuff. Hmm. Hmm. Come on, come on. Oh my goodness, we finally won one. We win one to end our night with a win, and that's a good thing. Okay. We won, yes. Oh, it's 10 minutes of free time. Man, I was gonna log out, but we have 10 minutes of free time. Hero, what kind of topics of conversation do you like? Oh my goodness, somehow I have 40 minutes of free time. I'm gonna have to play it through. I can't go to sleep when that's so much to lose. Maybe we'll get a good fortune. Okay, so here, I don't know if you ever go to like fortune teller type people or mediums. And I've wanted to go to a medium, but anyways, there were some free ones online. So I was mentioning to you, if you're ever bored or feeling lonely and you want to just talk with people, this meetup.com, www.meetup.com, meetup.com. There's different groups that meet for different reasons online, and it's all online sessions. No matter where you are in the world, you can go and meet these people and talk to them. Well, I found for 2 weeks, and I don't know if the last week of August they'll be doing it, but every 2 weeks in the summer they've been giving free readings. And so far, and the joke is with my friend that's not here, is that they keep giving me readings from people who aren't dead, like my mother. Or my cousin named Paul, because they said someone named Paul. That's the only one I can think of. It's like 40 minutes of free time play. If it was 5 minutes, I could walk away, but 40 minutes? Come on, you gotta understand I just can't. You gotta use it, it's free. I'm so cheap. I even want the virtual free stuff. You have to forgive me. I feel like you think it's funny that I'm aggressive in any way. I've been aggressive my whole life. You have to know this. I've just been a lady about it. I do tuck in my knees. If you think I'm bad now, imagine what I'm like in an interview. I'll say things just to amuse myself because I'm bored, because I've lived my whole life having interviews since I turned a certain age and had to get a job. There's been so many interviews that I just amuse myself. Usually if there's a man and a woman in the room, the man's going to think I'm funny and the woman will think I'm nuts and wonder why the man is laughing, and they won't be understanding why. That's usually what's happened. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, no bueno. Oh. Maybe when I get more free time, I'm just losing more. It's just not working the way it's supposed to be planned. Get rid of you. Alright, we'll get rid of you. Oh, I don't know what to talk about now. Ding, 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 ding. I don't usually pick purple for that, but okay. Oh, I'm not going to be lucky. I can't decide whether Gilderoy Lockhart's suit is nice to look at or not. Not my definite usual range of colors. Okay, last one that I'm going to go. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. Blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. Okay. Ba-doom. Oh. I think everyone's gone to bed here, or must have gone to bed. Come on, lightning bolts. Way. You know what this song is in my head? Among Us. And you can dance to it. Oh no, I just need to knock down 2 of his cards left, and then it's over, but he hasn't dropped yet. He hasn't dropped at all. And I may not have enough moves left. Let's see, let's see. I think I did it. Yes, we did it. We've won. Hero Flame, you may be asleep now, but we have won. That's pretty good progress here. Let's just take a look at where our club is at. Oh boy, 19th position. Wow. Yeah, no, we don't want to go there. Alright, we'll come back another day. I have to sleep because I have a long drive ahead of me in just a couple of hours. So, everybody, this is Venus Callida. So ends our session of Tuck In and Chill. I hope you enjoyed my stories. And if you want to hear a story more tailored to something you're interested in, just leave some comments in the comment section below. And don't forget, if you're passing through and you like what I offer, please hit the subscribe button and join our channel. We'd like to have more people and grow our community. Take care, everybody. Have a great night, and I hope you're having the sweetest of dreams. See you next time.